This Week in Geek. It's season 2, episode to season 2. I don't even know what the hell's it. It's our Patreon only show. Episode 3 or episode 103. Or if you go by, I was just on Capes and Lunatics, Phil's count, it might be episode 127 or something, because he said we did so many. This is 96A, 96B, 96C. So who knows what number we're at. It's the week of the first week of April.
Yes.
Good enough?
Is our numbering scheme like the comic books where they keep renumbering the comics to bring in, new reader?
Number ones, yeah.
Yes, and we keep changing costumes and all that. So, all right.
I'm Rob Southgate. Godzilla shirt on.
Oh, nice. I'm Rob Southgate. With me is Alil Kanika and Scott Salmons, and the Chris puppet is here as usual. But we wanted to show our cool background first. So there's Godzilla versus King Kong, which will be the main topic of conversation tonight. Before we jump into it, Alil, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at LOGEEKZ for the League of Geeks podcast. Also on Facebook at the League of Geeks. Also, we have a community page, the League of Geeks community page. YouTube at the League of Geeks, all over the place. League of Geeks, Geeks with a Z.
With a Z, yes, with a Z. And Scott.
I am on Twitter and Tumblr as Scotty Smurf, and I'm on Instagram as Milo Bloom 74, where I do DVD and magic card openings and displays.
Yes, you do. I like them. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm at R Southgate. On Instagram, I'm Rob Southgate. Better yet, go to our community stuff for the network. Go to SMG Pods. That's on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find Southgate Media Group on Facebook. You can find This Week in Geek on Facebook. And wherever you get your podcasting goodness, we've got all this there too. We have a website, southgatemediagroup.com. If you go to the podcast directory, you can find This Week in Geek, which the cool thing there is we've got all of our past episodes on there, and it's got pictures and all sorts of stuff. It's cool. It also has, aside from our Patreon, which obviously this is for you, this is for the patrons. We're not putting this anywhere else. We did do a sampling of last week's show on our regular feed, but that's it. They got 30 minutes of that hour and a half piece of gold.
Snyder cut.
Yeah, the Snyder cut one. We also are starting we have a Buy Me Coffee. So if you just want to give us a tip and you're like, yeah, this was cool, and you want to throw us a couple of bucks there, go to Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link on our page there and in the show notes as well. And we're going to do something cool there too, where on the Southgate Media Group Patreon, we have all these original shows. Right now, we've got 2 a week. That's going to expand. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike, interviews and other shows and new concepts. It's just so cool what's happening there. It's like our own podcast radio station. But on Buy Me Coffee, they're adding a thing where you can do rewards. And the newest thing that has not hit yet is you can add a podcast. So there was a show, before we get into all this, that Chris, Martha, and I did. Molly chimed in sometimes, but it was really Chris, Martha, and I. We called it Counterculture, where we would sit at Blue Box Cafe, literally just sit in the middle of the restaurant and talk about whatever. It wasn't all geeky stuff. It was just whatever. It usually turned into geeky stuff and food. But it was just a conversation. It was so great. We never posted those episodes. We never put them anywhere. So we are going to probably add them to this Patreon feed occasionally, but we're going to resurrect Counterculture, and we're going to do a weekly 15-minute show that's really just, and this can be anybody. So if you guys want to join in anytime, it's an open seat. We're just going to kind of talk about like what's going on. Whether it's about the network, whether it's like what's in the news, it's a different type of show, but it's only on our Buy Me a Coffee. How cool is that?
That's
nowhere
neat.
else. Yeah. And I mean, it's like a couple of bucks and you get it. So why not? Or you could do the whole year. I think we set it up that it's like $20 and you get the whole year. So you get all the shows for an entire year for like $20. And that helps pay for all the stuff going on here, like these amazing backgrounds. and Alil's weight loss, and Scott's amazing haircut.
Nope, it's just in a ponytail.
Yeah, and none of it pays for any of that. Okay, so let's get into it. We watched Godzilla versus Kong this week. I know you guys watched it. I'm going to lose the background.
Did you want to do the Star Trek news real quick, or
do you want to do that first?
Just real quick.
That's called burying the lead. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So,
Scott's on Star Trek news.
So this is First Contact week. So April 5th, 2063 is First Contact Day. So they dumped a bunch of news. They released the trailer for season 4 of Discovery. We see that Michael is now taking the center seat as the captain, and they've given them all new uniforms where they're actually going back to the Dayglow colors, the red and the gold and the science blue and all that, as they should have done from the start. But anyways,
Scott has some minor quibbles with Star Trek Discovery.
I mostly like the show, but there's a lot of problems. But the one I love, absolutely, unabashedly love, is Lower Decks.
Yeah, Lower Decks is great.
Lower Decks is fantastic, and its second season is coming in August, and they broke the news that they've been ordered for a third season.
Oh, great. I didn't see that.
Yep.
The news I saw that I'm waiting to talk about. Come on, you're going to have to hit this one next, right?
Janeway returns.
That is not the news, but yeah, I'll take Janeway returns. Man, you just don't want to talk about the big news, the elephant in the room. Okay,
we'll get there. I'm saving that for the big. I'm building up.
Do you care about any of this?
No.
Well, you're wrong, because this is cool.
So anyway, Star Trek Prodigy.
It's cool, great. I mean, it's just not what I was into. I mean,
we'll talk about the Powerpuff Girls movie coming. We'll talk about that next.
Really? Why?
Oh my God. Anyway, Star Trek Prodigy is a kid-focused show that's going to be on Nickelodeon. And it's going to be five teenage aliens who take over a abandoned Starfleet ship. And it was announced that Kate Mulgrew was going to be attached, but they couldn't explain how yet. And they finally dropped the news. She will be the emergency training hologram.
Oh, cool.
So it's Power Rangers, but Star Trek.
Yes.
Yes, basically. So it's a ship. It's set 5 years after Voyager returns. And
imagine if you had Power Rangers and it had a script. That's what this is going to be.
And Captain Janeway will be there as the hologram guiding them, kind of like the Doctor was on Voyager.
Yes.
And then, Picard's coming back. Whatever.
Oh my God. Picard's
I was
coming
very
back,
disappointed.
And John Delancey is coming. Well, you're wrong. John Delancey is coming back as Q. I mean, that's going to be awesome.
That is very good. That is very good news.
That was the news, Scott.
That is amazing news to have John Delancey back.
Is Data in it?
No, he's dead.
But he was in the last season.
Yeah, but he's dead. And so should Picard be. But anyway.
How's he dead when he's a cyborg? He's a robot.
He died in Nemesis like 15 years ago.
His Star Trek nerd ire is getting all boiling.
The last time I watched, and I have a reminder going off to give my guinea pigs their medicine.
Do you need to go and do that, Alil?
I did it before we started recording.
Okay. What a good guinea pig dad.
I fell asleep during one of them in the theater.
One of what? Star Trek?
Yeah, whichever one came out in like 90, 99, in that
99, probably Insurrection.
Those were not the good ones, man.
No, they weren't.
What is wrong with you? Is that the one where they do the musical when they're in the shuttle and they start singing show tunes?
Gilbert and Sullivan, yes.
Maybe it was terrible. 96, 97.
Everybody fell asleep in Resurrection. That was awful.
Insurrection was not great.
Watch First Contact. You'd like that. That's cool.
Yeah. That's a good one. But yes,
it seems too daunting to go back and start this at this point.
It's not.
It's just like Game of Thrones. Like, I don't want to watch it. Like, at this point, like, it's why?
It's not too daunting. It's good. The reason I brought up the Powerpuff Girls a little, I figured you'd light up because Chloe Bennett
is one
of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yep.
So is that a show or a movie?
It's going to be
It's
a
a
live
movie.
action. No, it's not. It's a live action TV show, I thought, for the CW.
Oh,
That's
is
what I
it?
thought.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was a movie. A movie, baby.
Yeah, because
No,
I
it's
think
just
Donald Faison is also in it playing.
Oh,
playing the
yeah, I did
professor.
see that.
Huh.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's a movie. I could be wrong. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's,
think it's a show.
I think I'm
And-
wrong.
And
Here's
one
the deal.
show-
Does
yeah.
anybody care if we're wrong?
I wanted to point out, I saw a tweet from Craig McCracken, the guy who originally did the original
Right.
show.
Right.
He basically said, I don't have the rights to the show. I have nothing to do with this. And that's all he said.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fabulous. I mean, maybe it will be. You know,
No.
we can't judge and get all toxic about it. I know that the pictures I saw, I was like, yeah, this looks like, I think it's going to be what I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be great. It's kind of like when they did Josie and the Pussycats and you saw the trailer and you went, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
This could have been something fun and it's not great. Did you guys see the teaser for Afterlife?
No.
There's a Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh,
teaser
yes,
dropped
that
today,
clip.
or maybe it was yesterday. The one with Paul Rudd when he did you see it, Lil?
Yeah. I saw that.
now I know what you're talking about because you just said Afterlife. I'm like, I don't. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, how many things are probably called Afterlife? You're like,
I know, right?
Afterlife.
Really, there's only one. Although, to be fair, Powerpuff Girls Afterlife is the name of that show too. So,
See,
I saw the little clip, and that is awesome.
Yeah, you guys like the clip?
yeah, with
Yes.
the little Stay Puft.
Stay Puff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the Gremlins. I did think it was funny when he first put his hand over and the thing like nipped him. That was the best part. The rest of it, I was like, okay, it's Gremlins too. They're causing mayhem. But when he's like, isn't that cute? And he did the Poppin' Fresh thing to poke his stomach and it like bit him. That was pretty funny. I'm looking forward to this. Although they're kind of pushing hard with the Bill Murray saying, "Oh, this is like this is as good as the original," or whatever. I'm like, what came out here? When did he was against it? Now all of a sudden he's in it and he's saying it's brilliant. Is it what's going on? So I don't know. I hope it is. It looks good. It looks really good.
I think they have a good tone to it.
But man, 2 is not that good.
No,
You know?
Bill Murray came out and said he didn't like to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did like that he said that, but it's easy to say that when you have a new one coming out, you know. I didn't like that last one we'd been, but this one, you know, that's a little easier to do.
Yeah.
But hopefully I like the tone of this where it seems a little more grounded. That last one with the female cast, I liked it. I know no one else did. I liked it, but it was a little more cartoony.
Yeah, I wanted to like it, but it needed another 3 or 4 months in the script stage.
It did. It needed more script time, and they really botched the whole Leslie Jones stuff in that. But I still liked it. I still had fun watching it. This one, though, looks like more what I want to see.
Yeah.
And and that has nothing to do with the gender of the cast or anything. I could care less about that. I know that's what people bring up. It's like, who cares?
I don't
Good
care.
script. Tell me a
Kate
good
McKinnon.
story.
Kate McKinnon stole the show.
Yeah, she did.
She absolutely stole the show.
Her and Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
Chris
yeah,
Hemsworth can do no wrong.
right.
We know. And I see him behind you, Will. Yes.
Chris.
Oh, yes. Well, you're pointing at Hulk, but he doesn't really understand who his characters are. I see. There he is. Okay. You know what? As long as we're doing news, let's hit a couple more things. Did you see that they're making the creators of Cobra Kai are making an Ancient Aliens movie? So, yeah, but there's not a lot of information other than they're like, I think they're taking it seriously, and they're like, we're going to be telling stories in this like Ancient Aliens world where like this happened and tell these stories. So I have a feeling it's going to be like Stranger Things with aliens. That's kind of the impression I got. Cobra Kai is not, I mean, I love Cobra. I've been having fun with it, but it's not great. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence that like, wow, it's not like when the Russo brothers took over Marvel and you're like, whoa, these Captain America movies are amazing. I don't know if they're that type of filmmaker that we're going to get something of the caliber we're looking for. But
But it's not,
cool.
it's not a movie, it's a TV series. So, I mean.
Is it? I'm getting all. No, it's a movie. Ancient Aliens is a movie.
Wait, is it?
Yes.
Is it a Netflix
I'm looking at the
movie?
headline right here. Ancient Aliens movie in development from Cobra Kai directors.
Is it like going to be a straight to Netflix type movie? Like, it's not theatrical.
It's not opening quick enough. It doesn't say Netflix. It doesn't say anything.
All right. Well, then good for them.
I mean, if it's not good, I would say it's a straight to 7-Eleven's bargain bin.
I picked up a few DVDs from the 7-Eleven bins.
I know those Batman movies that you love.
Yeah.
Superman, the original, Christopher Reeves.
A bargain bin for a little.
I ordered those direct.
Those are steel case for Scott.
One more quick thing here. Mystery Science Theater. So it got a short revival on Netflix.
Yeah.
But Netflix apparently didn't like the numbers, so they didn't order any more. Joel Hodgson has launched yet another Kickstarter.
Sure.
To bring it back.
Yeah, and they'll get the money. They got a ton of money the last time they did it.
Yeah, it opened today. They already have 1.4 million. They need 2 million to get started.
Here's the deal. They have a rabid fan base. They can continue, if they keep their costs at the right place, they will continue to get the money they need to put these things out and continue to do it. Netflix was a gamble, but they're not going to draw the numbers Netflix wants. So that's why they're like, hey, now that doesn't mean they couldn't produce this whole thing, get it Kickstarter, do their whole thing, and Netflix says, hey, yeah, we'll put it on, but cheap. Like we'll give you, throw you a few bucks. They might do that. They just don't want to pay for the production on it.
Right. Yeah.
Which honestly, what's the production on it? I think the Zoom call costs about what it does for Mystery Science Theater.
I think the movie, getting the rights to do those movies is probably the most expensive part.
If they're not public domain, sure, but that show was originally all public domain stuff.
Not always, because there's a lot of episodes that they had trouble getting the rights to release on video and even DVD because the rights holders got mad that the Misty crew made fun of their movie.
Really?
Yeah, there's a woman who's the daughter of a filmmaker. She has the rights to like 5 of them. And she's like, I hate you guys. You're never getting my movies again.
That's kind of funny. That's pretty funny. Hey, guess what? People watched your movie, which we're not going to watch their movie otherwise. So
I know, right?
Any other news? No, there's only one other that I want to bring up. Everything else is just like, it's our typical news. There's a trailer here. There's, there's nothing that's earth shattering. There's a few things like Jupiter's Legacy I don't know if I care about. But I thought this was cool. Knives Out. They're doing 2 sequels, 2 and 3. They signed a deal, and it's Amazon,
Netflix.
So is it Netflix? I had read it was Amazon, but I'm not looking at the story right now.
Paid $450 million for both movies.
$450 million.
Makes no sense. That makes no sense.
It really doesn't.
Makes no sense.
It really doesn't. Although I'm happy about it because that was a phenomenal movie.
That was insanely good. I was ready to hate it because, Rian Johnson in Star Wars, you know how that went. But Knives Out.
But you can't because Chris Evans is in it. And he's
That's
amazing.
right. That's right.
Knives Out was, it's like Clues,
Marvel heroes
older
in the
gothier
movie.
system.
All that matters.
Well, and you have Daniel Craig, so you have James Bond and Captain America in that movie. And you have Jamie Lee Curtis in that one.
Oh, that's right. She was.
So, that was a great movie. And that ending was just great. I'm excited for these. I watched that, and I really, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like, especially for Daniel Craig's character, I was like, there is so much more to tell. Like, if they go back to the well with this same family, it's not.
No, the family's gone. It's going to be him.
It's going to be him. It's going to follow his story. And guess what? That's the way to go. You've got a new character and concept that is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't started writing mystery novels about Benoit Blanc.
Well, I'm sure there's fanfic out there. You could probably look that up.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Although I think that's about Benoit Balls. That's something completely different. So
it's a great Blink-182 song.
Is it? I don't know.
They do it on their original album. when they're first released.
Oh, you kids and your rock music.
Oh my God.
I got only one more thing. This one I just saw while I was scanning here. Other than Guardians 3 is going into production. Shocker. Jennifer Jason Leigh is joining the Hunters cast for season 2. Did you guys watch Hunters?
No.
It's an Amazon show. I got that one right. We've only seen the first episode, but it is fantastic. It's funky and it's violent and it's a good time. It's a good time. And Al Pacino's in it. So, it's a good time.
Is that with Ted from How I Met Your Mother?
I don't know. Is he in it?
I think he might be the guy who played Ted in How I Met Your Mother.
I didn't know that guy was still working.
I think he's in that. That's because you said Al Pacino, right? They're hunting like Nazis?
Yeah. Spoiler.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, it's really great. It did get some backlash because of its portrayal of Jewish people, which is weird because I read this and then I was like, well, I didn't really see it that way, but I could imagine if you're Jewish, maybe you did. Then I read another article by somebody Jewish who said, what are they talking about? Like, we get to hunt Nazis down. Like, what are you talking about? So I don't know. Lena Olin is in it. Who is Ted? Who played Ted?
I forgot his name. Tell me the name.
Josh Radnor?
Yes.
He's in it.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even recognize him. I don't know if I've seen him in it yet. I've only seen the first episode, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I was watching How I Met Your Nazi. Yeah.
No.
It was their slap episode. Oh, it's good to be back.
Moving on.
I liked it. Yeah, see?
Chris liked it.
I had to chime in. Yeah. Oh. Go to the blue box. All right, so let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, yes. I just finished it about a half hour ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
And let's start with Lil because he watched it before any of us. He was first.
All righty.
That's right. I watched it opening night because the kids were hyped for it. I mean, they've I have Team Godzilla and Team Kong in the house.
Nice.
And Team Millie Bobby Brown between my 3 kids.
Okay. Well,
Ava just wanted to see Millie Bobby Brown because she loves Millie Bobby Brown. My oldest daughter was Team Kong, and my son is Team Godzilla. They loved it. They thought it was a fantastic movie. It was great. It was action, everything. I liked it. I didn't love it. Like it's good. The Godzilla Kong scenes are great. Those are the best things. Anything with the humans, just like every movie in this series, is not great. Like, I don't like what they're doing. I didn't like how MechaGodzilla looked.
No, I could have used a little more of the original in there, a little less.
Not even the original. Not even
a little less Transformer.
I think because we review the movie as well, we have a review of that coming out tomorrow. They had a perfect design for it in Ready Player One. And I know, Scott, you're not a big fan of Ready Player One. But I think
I liked that design.
Godzilla design of Ready Player One, which is a Warner Brothers picture, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't use that. I agree.
Take it.
Yeah.
That was the design, and it was great. Yeah.
And this one looked...
And it would have gotten you...
sickly, weirdly...
It would have gotten a cheer if they'd used it, too.
I'm sure. And
I think so, yeah.
And the other problem, too, is they didn't really go into much explanation of what happened on why MechaGodzilla went on his own. You can tell why.
Yeah.
But they could have done more to it. Like there should have been more to Mecha piece, not just I mean, there's a great story there that they could have done. They could have done stuff with Ghidorah. Like, yes, he was sensing Ghidorah. They're taking the Ghidorah, they're traveling it all over because they're turning it alive somehow to utilize the mech. Great. Keep going with some more of those details rather than
and show it falter a little bit a couple of times where they'd be confused and go, wait, why did it do that? Oh, it must be a glitch in the system. But as the audience, you're smart enough to go, oh, this is going on.
It's coming alive.
And it said it was like,
dime, and it was like,
bam.
Yeah, the director has said he could make a 5-hour cut, and I think that kind of stuff would probably be in it. But this one was an hour and 53, which is a little long, but it's a lot leaner than the last 3 movies in the MonsterVerse, and
which makes no sense to me. This is your Avengers. This is your Justice League. I'm not saying it needs to be a Snyder cut. I'm saying this movie should have been 220.
Yes.
Give me a little bit more detail and explanation.
More of that.
Hollow Earth.
Fix the Hollow Earth was cool. It's like we got a glimpse.
Exactly. You give us nothing in it. All you do is all of a sudden then Godzilla breathes, uses his atomic breath through the center and builds a hole for them to come right out of. I'm like, this makes no sense for how you set it up.
He sensed the activation of that power source.
Yes, he did. But the thing is, they had a tunnel to the Hollow Earth. They couldn't guide their way through it. But now they can just get out, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they were getting it there fast to get them into Tokyo, right?
Exactly.
Hong Kong.
That's what they wanted to do. It's like, okay, we're coming up on an hour 53. I don't understand why they cut this down. What happened here? You knew it was going to be an HBO Max thing after all the delays and everything last year. It's not like you're stuck in the theater's runtime where theaters want to cap you at a certain runtime.
You can tell a 220 story and not lose your audience.
This is your MonsterVerse. You've put in 2 Godzilla movies and a Kong movie pre this to set this up, and I don't think it didn't get the bang it deserved. It didn't have that. It had some great moments. Again,
the fight was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love having multiple fights. I love that Godzilla beat Kong, but then needed Kong.
And that made sense too, because I was like, okay, they keep saying there's a clear winner. I'm like, well, they're not going to kill one of the two because that kills what they're trying to do.
Right.
But that was it. I bought it. I bought that whole thing. MechaGodzilla, the design. I don't know what was going on there. It was off, but I still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
I think the writing for the humans was pretty rough. Other than the podcaster, all hail the podcasters.
No, Rob. Again, another movie where they're using podcasters as bumbling idiots who are investigating crap and hiding in a dungeon. It's not what podcasters are anymore. This isn't
not?
Pump Up the. Are you in a dungeon right now?
No.
This isn't Pump Up the Volume where we're Christian Slater tapping into things.
No, but I still
the opening with Halloween. They did this crap again. I don't understand it.
Okay, so you get ticked at that. You know what? I'm not ticked at that because I liked the actor. I thought he was funny as that character. I
like the actor a lot.
I didn't think he represented all podcasters. I enjoyed him.
Again, that stupid almost swore. I'm trying not to swear. That stupid line at the end where Kyle Chandler shows up and he's like, "Can I interview you?" I'm like, dude, Kong and Godzilla just fought MechaGodzilla in front of you. Everyone, million people died here with all these buildings crashing down, and now you want an interview. That's what I'm talking about.
I do agree.
Stupid comments like that. It's
bad writing.
And again, with the kids,
that kind of has a through line to the classic films where you have the investigative journalist getting into stowing away on ships, breaking into buildings, going after the corporations trying to steal stuff, hiding Mothras.
And they actually very much act like this.
Yeah, there is a precedent in the franchise there.
I understand that, but you could have written it and fleshed these characters out better. Again,
Yes,
this
they
is
could have done
another
better.
movie.
Yeah.
This is another movie where the human characters are garbage. All of them. I like the actors.
I didn't like all the actors.
Well, I didn't like Skarsgård. I thought he was awful in this movie.
Millie Bobby Brown was terrible.
Millie Bobby Brown didn't do anything.
She was terrible.
Yeah, she was kind of wasted here.
She was terrible in the King of Monsters. She was terrible in this.
I don't think she was terrible in King of Monsters.
No, she was good in King of Monsters.
I
just rewatched it. I just rewatched the 4 MonsterVerse movies leading up to this, and I liked that all 3 had.
Andy watched the Donner cut of one of them. It was amazing.
Your Donner cut, Scott.
Oh my God! But yeah, I rewatched them all here just in the past several days, and I think King of the Monsters remains my favorite of these 4. Kong Skull Island was so different, but it had its own really awesome energy to it.
That's actually my favorite one.
I think because of Tom Hiddleston's amazingness. I mean, that's
oh God,
what's my Marvel? No, Samuel L. Jackson's in it, and he squares off with Kong. But come on, the scene where
John C. Reilly,
where Kong is like, and Samuel Jackson's like, come on. If anybody's going to stare down Kong, it's Samuel L. Jackson.
I agree.
Get this MFing monkey off this MFing island. Put him on that plane. There's snakes on the plane, sir. Get those MFing snakes off that MFing plane.
I just didn't like the skull crawlers in that. Like
I thought the design was weak, and I hated that they brought them back here.
And the fact that they brought them back, exactly. That they're breeding them now, and I'm like, this is awful. Like this is they're trying to make Elon Musk here.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
That's what they're trying to do. Like that's what
I found Millie Bobby Brown and her friend distracting because they were so bad at it, and she was especially bad. I just felt like what? Why is she getting hired here? Why is he getting hired here? Because he's got an English accent and he's got that hair or something. I don't know.
That was yeah. Who is that actor?
They need to get rid of them.
He was in Deadpool 2. He was in.
Is he that kid?
Yeah, he was in the Christmas Chronicles 2. He was in. Or 1, I think. He was in 1 and 2, I think.
He's not good in this. And Millie Bobby Brown is not good in this.
I don't blame them. I blame direction. Again, I blame direction because I don't think the humans did anything in this movie.
No.
The other group of humans with the girl that was doing the sign language, like she was cute and nice, and I liked her as the girl talking to Kong. But everybody else in that movie, what's her face? I can't remember.
I liked her mom or the mom figure enough.
Right. Yeah.
She at least seemed like she was trying to do something there. She just the writing for the humans wasn't good. We were there to see 2 big creatures fight it out.
I agree. Yeah. And it did that.
And we got a third big creature, which made it kind of fun.
Yes.
It did that part well. But again, if you want to keep intercutting with this story, you've got to. But they failed with the humans in almost every one of these. Every one of the Godzilla movies, espespecially that first one. With
the first one, they really and boy, what terrible casting there. The guy from Kick-Ass. Oh, he was awful.
But he's Quicksilver. So.
I know you love him because he was Quicksilver. He was bad as Quicksilver too. That's the worst of the Marvel movies.
But Elizabeth Olsen was cute. That's about it.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Ultron, and you know what? There's parts of it that I really love, but man,
I think that movie is better now after everything we've seen.
It is, but it wasn't.
Oh, I agree.
They retconned a lot of stuff by making these other things so good. Like, cool.
They? I mean, was it a part of a setup for all this other stuff?
There is no way that was a setup at that time. There is no way. Look at who was involved. Look what was going on there. No, Alil, you're giving them way too much credit for that.
I'm not giving Josh the credit. I'm giving Feige the credit. Feige is the one who lays these breadcrumbs out.
Right.
Feige,
Feige, yes. But
no, I'm not giving Whedon any credit.
The problems with that movie, with Ultron, were not the Feige stuff. It was absolutely meddling from suits, and now in retrospect, we know Whedon.
Yep.
Well, right. Well, I mean, the only thing that saves those movies is the amazing cast. I mean,
True.
if it wasn't for them doing what they do, that movie probably would have been Justice League.
All that awesome swagger and great lines, and Hulk throwing Loki around. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But we're off track.
We are. So
does Hulk throw Loki around in Ultron? I can't remember. I know he does in the first one.
Yeah, he does the first. Loki's not in the second one.
I forgot. That's the only one I have not gone back to that well. I've only watched it twice, and I was like, that's, I think, enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kong versus Godzilla. Do you want to see more of these?
I do, and there's still lots of places they could go.
Well,
and
they introduced a ton of monsters in King of the Monsters, and that's the other thing too. And that came up in our discussion. I didn't even think about it. But where were all these other monsters?
Right.
Like, why was Godzilla only attacking Kong?
Right.
I think the implication there is that in King of the Monsters, he showed that he was the alpha there, and the others were just staying out of the way. But
and Kong is another alpha.
Right.
Kong is another alpha. That's what they were implying here. But they didn't show us any of that. They didn't.
The opening credits kind of showed some things where it would show the silhouettes of the other monsters, and it showed defeated. But it didn't really.
It didn't tell us where they were, why they weren't involved.
But you would have thought when back in this movie, and
when there was that first thing, and Godzilla was like about Kong, and they fought in the water, and then he goes to Hong Kong. That's where some of these monsters should have shown up to be like, oh, he's weak. Let's jump on the alpha. We could have had craziness, like monsters fighting each other with Kong and Godzilla in the center going, save MechaGodzilla for another movie and flesh it out and give us a great story there. That would have been a spectacle.
I feel like, though, what had happened is that Legendary thought that they weren't going to get enough out of this. And they just said, you know what, give us something that gives us not a full ending, but a soft ending. So that, you can say, okay, here's our story arc. We started on Kong Skull Island. We had Godzilla versus the Mutos and King of the Monsters, and then versus Kong. And we kind of set that. But like, apparently after the first couple of days of the theatrical showings plus HBO Max streams, we watched it on HBO Max. Apparently Legendary tweeted out the Monsterverse continues.
Good.
So I don't know if they're going to make more movies or if they're going to do a TV show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of thing or whatever.
No, don't.
But
don't do that.
They're going to do something.
Did you guys watch it at home? You both watched it at home?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to the theater now for anything.
Yeah, God, no.
Dude, we actually set it up on our deck. We had our big screen out there and watched it with it because we have surround or stereo sound out there. And oh my God, watching it on that big screen, once it got dark enough, that movie popped. It was awesome on a big screen. That movie really should be seen on an even, IMAX would have been amazing, except for the human parts. They could just cut those right out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, again, they didn't write them good. They didn't give enough time. They didn't do anything to develop. I didn't understand why, what's his face's son was bad now because his dad died. His dad sacrificed himself. Like, his dad was all for Godzilla. Like, none of this made sense.
Right.
And they didn't connect it enough. Like, you're building a MonsterVerse, connected better. We've seen 3 movies. You've told us a story. We understand this.
I think the most cohesive thing was Kong. They even though this is years later, like you understood Kong in a different way because of Kong Skull Island. And it made him the character that we saw here, where it was like, oh, you have empathy for this character. Yeah. And I get that he's a protector. Like, all that stuff from that last movie, that came forward. Godzilla is just insane.
The only problem I have with the Kong Skull Island and jumping to now is the time gap, because then we don't get any of those actors back. Like, I would have liked to see Hiddleston back here, but he's probably dead. I mean, this is, that was in the 70s, or he's like 80 years old. Like, what are they going to do? Like,
there should have been, even if he wasn't there. Well, he should have been there. They should have had John Goodman's character.
But he died.
Because, Yeah, but
He
he
died.
was the one that set so much of that in motion. They should have had something when they were talking about it, showing him on like video or
Like old
something.
video
Right.
film. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that to tie us back to that, and maybe used a project name that was tied to him, because he is the reason that stuff really started.
Yes.
I mean, if all they did was set the setting for that, like maybe during, I don't know, Desert Storm.
Yeah.
92 instead of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Have them, have that group go off this way on a different mission, whatever. And then they found, I mean, I don't know. I just think that I like the nostalgia of the 70s. I like the music of that in that movie,
Right.
but it's just like.
Yeah, I loved how every time they did the Kong stuff too, when he was alone hanging out, it was that 70s music. That was really great.
Yes. Yeah. Those some neat touches.
Kong like starts toking up. It's like a Cheech and Chong movie. He's laying around like got the munchies,
Like, let me get this squid,
Yeah, it's awesome. The other thing I really liked is that there was a callback, and this goes way back to the original Kong from the 30s. When he first starts fighting Godzilla, he goes for that jaw clamp. Like,
yeah.
It was like you thought, oh man, like they start fighting like crazy, and all of a sudden he was fighting to get that clamp. That was so cool.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Excuse me. Did you ever see the old movie, the Japanese Kong movie, King Kong Escapes?
No.
No, wait, is that no, I'm thinking of King Kong Lives. I think I did see King Kong Escapes.
It was a Japanese production. It had the mad scientist Doctor Who with the Mecha Kong. And
I did see this one.
There was a reference to that in this movie, because in that old movie, they had a scene where they used helicopters and a net to carry Kong to the South Pole. And they did that again in this movie. And that was a really neat call out to that old type movie like that.
Sure.
Interesting.
But
we'll take a picture, boys. 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I didn't catch that. I do remember that movie. Actually, you know what? I had a weird memory when we were watching it. I don't know, Alil, you probably never saw, other than the modern King Kong or Godzilla stuff in the theaters. I saw the MechaGodzilla movie in the theaters. I remember going and seeing it. My friend had moved. We were like best friends. He moved a couple towns over. We only saw each other once in a while at that point. But once in a while when we do it, like our parents would take us to movies. And that was one of the movies we saw. And then we went back to his house, and all we could talk about was MechaGodzilla for like a week. Like we're calling each other on the phone talking MechaGodzilla. That was when we had the two of us collected all our Micronauts, and we had the Shogun Warriors, and I had a Godzilla, the big, like 1.5 foot tall Godzilla, the one that the hand punches off. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And oh my God, and I remember I brought that over, and we're like playing with that, and all we could talk about was like MechaGodzilla. Like they need to make a toy of MechaGodzilla. They need to do all this MechaGodzilla stuff. I had forgotten that entirely until watching this movie.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's probably why I said it would have been nice to have kind of a throwback to that original, even if they had like a prototype sitting around.
Right. Like
that was that original
model on a shelf or something.
Yes. We've been working on this for years. And ever since we discovered these, alphas, they started working on this. These designs were, make a reference. These designs were terrible. They didn't work, clunky, out of date. That might have justified what we saw a little bit more too. This one was like, it was like the Transformers, where you go, got weird stuff going on there. And now it's sentient, and I don't get it.
I mean, I got it because I know a smidge of the Godzilla lore, and I kind of got that idea that, and one thing about that I enjoyed is that this and King of the Monsters both evoke that kind of bat spit bizarro plot of the 80s and early 90s Godzilla films, where you start off like you're in modern Tokyo, but then all of a sudden they have these weird flying ships, and there's bizarro aliens trying to control Godzilla.
I love that stuff.
It's grounded in reality, but it's got this bizarro
and then it goes
stuff.
crazy,
and then it goes crazy, and that's why I love King of the Monsters, and that's why I enjoyed this, because they both felt like, instead of like the Roland Emmerich Godzilla from '98, or even Godzilla 2014, on the first one of the series, they both still felt like American movies with Godzilla in them.
Sure.
King of the Monsters and versus Kong, these two really felt like they had taken Japanese scripts and translated them to more worldwide and American settings. That's that's what I felt about King of the Monsters as soon as I saw it, and that's what I felt about this one while watching it. It's had that same feel to it, more like the classic Japanese films.
Sure.
You've got the kids, the kids with the in King of the Monsters, Millie Bobby Brown played a much bigger part. She stole the device and took it to the baseball stadium.
Sure.
In this one, you had the little girl that had the connection to Kong.
Fenway Park.
Wait, what? No,
what? Baseball stadium was Fenway Park.
Yeah, where they played the baseball, whatever.
So, this is where I need Chris.
Yeah, right.
If we want to do
it's Fenway Park. Yeah.
If we want to do an episode of this counterculture where we talk about how boring baseball is, well, I could fill an hour.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Fenway Park is awesome. Okay.
Chris. And then Kong Skull Island was just its own bizarro awesome thing. I just totally loved. I don't hate the 2014. It had some good setup. I really wish that they had released a director's cut with more of the fights extended, especially the airport fight. We really needed to see that.
Well, we may get more of that now. We live in a world where that kind of stuff might be the content that they can start adding to some of these streaming services. Otherwise, everyone's got the same stuff.
Yeah. That's one thing I look forward to, of this. I hate how so many companies have their own streaming services, because when it was like Netflix and Hulu, you're like, okay, great. I have those and I've got everything. But now Disney has their own, HBO has their own,
sure.
All these things. And I'm like, I'm not buying all of these. I'm buying a handful of them, but that's it.
Right.
But yeah. And,
well, it changes how you watch it too, because for some of them, you're going to feel like Peacock, you might go, yeah, there's enough that I want to watch. You get it for 2 months and ditch it. Just watch all that stuff. It's like, there are some of the services that I feel, even Disney Plus, I feel that way about. Like they got you with that good deal in the beginning, but right now I'm like, when The Mandalorian's on, let it run its whole thing, and then I'll watch it. I'll get it for a month. I'll watch Mandalorian and the Marvel shows, and I'm out.
There's so many Marvel shows.
Until they add more content. Yeah, but not enough to it's still not enough to justify. It's like if Netflix only had Stranger Things and then Queen's Gambit and Orange is the New Black, and you're like, okay, well, it's got enough. It's not enough.
No,
it's not enough to sustain.
It's enough for $6 a month. It's not enough for Netflix. Is almost 20 now.
Well, I mean, I like that Netflix has all the Star Trek on it, Twilight Zone,
CBS,
Monty Python.
Yeah. CBS.
No, there's still the classic Star Trek is still on Netflix. Next Gen and DS9 and all the classic stuff. The new stuff is only on CBS Plus.
Although I wouldn't be
Paramount Plus.
I wouldn't be surprised if their contract runs out and it goes to CBS. That's the whole idea.
I'm sure that's what they're looking.
Yeah.
I paid for the year for Paramount Plus. It cost me $30.
So let's end this thing, guys. We all liked the movie. We all recommend it. It's a good time. It had flaws. Who cares? It's a good time. Definitely better than the Snyder
popcorn movie.
Yeah, popcorn movie. Watching it on that big screen outside, fantastic.
Yes.
I don't know if Chris got a chance to watch it. He didn't answer me when I asked him. So I'm sure, hopefully, he'll be back next week and we'll get an earful about all these things. Enough that we'll cut off his mic. But or at least we'll do the puppet and just, I'll do his voice the whole time. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being on. This was awesome. Did you guys have any final thoughts on any of this stuff?
Nope.
I want them to do more Godzilla movies, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I want to see another try at Zilla from the 98 Emmerich Devlin movie, the American Godzilla.
Sure.
I want to see her come back and have another go at the big G.
I could see that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. All right, cool. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with another Patreon show. I don't know if we'll focus on one thing or if we'll just do news the whole time or if we'll just make fun of each other. You never know what you're going to get on here. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. This was a lot of fun. We'll put any links in the show notes, but if you're on here, you probably already know all those links because you're following us. And thank you so much for being patrons.
Us? You really like us?
Yeah, I think. Or they like the other shows we're doing and they tolerate us. You tolerate us. You really tolerate us.
That sounds more appropriate.
It's more accurate. All right, that's it. Thank you guys, everybody. Enough said.